Hey guys, Mark Allen, BHSpringSolutions LLC and BHSpringSolutions.com, and I'm here with my partner Slav Baruchiev, and you're looking at a picture. This is actually the second picture in a week that we've received from BH veterans about this locking lug cam in the high power pistol, and that's what you're seeing right there, and that's the fracture crack from a BH veteran. Another BH veteran didn't even have it left with this much integrity. It was kind of just parts missing in his picture. And our chief weapons and modifications designer, probably the most knowledgeable person about the high power design in history, Léon Hubert in Liège, Belgium. He was kind enough to write to us and explain, yes, I know the problem and also the solution. So I'm going to turn this over to my partner Slav and let him kind of explain what we're seeing here and what that's all about.
Well, what we're seeing here is a fractured part, obviously, but the interesting moment is why this part actually fractured and failed. As we know, the locking lug cam, or the crossbar, as I'm going to call it from now on, is the thing that is providing a rest for the barrel when it's tilting back and down during the shot. And we basically are having two metal surfaces beating each other, and they are just competing against each other, and the surface that is more prone to break will break. This is for certain at some point. This part particularly is hardened, heat treated until it reaches around 36 Rockwell, and it needs to be heat treated to that exact level, so it is soft enough in order to be able to be pressed inside the frame and to be smashed or riveted in, so it stays secure. And the barrel look is also heat treated to that same level. It is also 35-36 HRC, but it is measured in Burnells. It is 330 HB or Burnell. So the difference is that we have a much larger area in the barrel that is accepting this punishment, this hit during the shot, and we have a relatively, and not just relatively, but considerably smaller area in the locking lug cam inside the frame. So it is normal for the frame to fracture, and much seldom the barrel lock fractures. The barrel lock will fracture if there is an internal tension built during the manufacturing process and in proper heat treatment or so. There are a couple of ideas Leon gave us about fixing this problem, and we will consider those ideas for bettering this design eventually. Something else that we need to point out is that when you are maintaining, you're doing basic maintenance of your guns, you should be always keeping an eye on this part, and because those fractures they can develop immediately or during a small period of time, so just keep an eye on the surface. If you see a small hair-like fractures, just stop using the gun, because it might be not okay for the functioning. I mean, it will fail, but it can lead to catastrophic failure eventually. One good or two good measurements you can take for keeping this part health is using fresh recoil spring, because this will thin down the recoil or using the buffering guide rod, because this will be softening the recoil at its most violent part, namely the most backwards point of the recoil. So
one thing I'd like to add is this part, the high powers locking lug cam, under this locking lug cam, this is an area that we tend to, it tends to be somewhat inaccessible. And you can, with lack of cleaning, with lack of maintenance, with lack of dragging a patch cloth, and keeping, a rust inhibitor from setting in on the underneath side of this locking lug cam, you can actually have rust set in logically and can start to degrade the integrity of this part. So, it's always possible to run an oily patch cloth under this part and not have that happening. But it's difficult to see underneath that locking lug cam, and so this is another thing that comes to my mind. Hey, thanks for joining us, guys. BH Spring Solutions. This is Mark Allen and Slav Baruchiev for High Power University.